called sir?
As opposed to what?
Sir Ward.
Yeah, oh, I do remember.
Sir Mr. Ward.
Sir
Ward.
Dr. Ward.
Mr. Sir Jack Johnson likes to be called sir. He's also a Mr.
Cancer.
All right. Prefer doctor?
The one and only.
Call him doctor.
Now,
Doctor.
okay. First, I'd like to figure out the first derivative here. I want to see if you can figure it out. Move, work with your little, work with your grip.
I don't need this. Yeah, I meant to give to Lucas, but
As you guys are doing that, I'm going to put the outline of what we're talking about on the board today.
Okay, Mr. Ward. Didn't you say Coach Ward was an acceptable name?
All right, so you.
So if I called you that would be acceptable?
Yes.
Okay. Coach.
Section.
We got a square.
Look at this.
Nope. I'm just winging it.
Wrapping it and unwrapping it over and over.
Huh.
you like unwrapped it, then you wrapped it back up, then you started unwrapping it, and then you closed it.
Wait, can you just take it first derivative?
Nope.
And foil it?
If I did the whole thing.
X.
This is Riley in her office. Pinterest? Like,
I'm doing the pen too, so that's kind of awkward.
Yeah, we need time to
I was gonna work on spelling.
It's alright, actually, it's minus 2X.
The derivative of the first is 0, right?
So it'd be,
0.
I'm so upset.
plus.
Is there more?
I don't want to rock right now.
To save wraps for stuff, and it has numbers.
Yeah, okay, I don't know enough to work
Why do you do it?
Okay,
but that was kind of
Mr. Ward, I was almost 100% sure that the assignment was due today, so last night, even though I was busy, started doing it.
That's a
Yeah, then she texted me, have you done calc yet?
I think someone's
I'm
gonna
like,
let
oh,
that
no.
ticket.
She goes, well, why not?
We're getting some time to work on it today.
That's
Mr. Ward.
awesome. That's just brilliant.
Yeah, 72X. Can you come
Do
check?
we have to distribute the 3?
Eventually, yes.
This is a 72 right there.
Not enough to do anything at all.
That's a 72.
Just don't do it.
You'll work on the first few powers, and then I'll go get mine. Okay? I'll rip it out of my notebook, so I don't have to carry around a whole notebook.
Oh, Lord.
Have you done your econ thing yet?
Minus or
Oh, the whole
Oh
thing
god,
is
yeah, it's
squared.
over 16X.
Yeah.
Wait, where?
You take 4x and square it.
Did I really move?
4x and 4x.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Why haven't I done it yet?
I'll be right back.
There's
Mr.
3 of
Ward,
them.
what's the answer?
Okay, maybe I wasn't going right through.
I will let you know,
Wait,
it's
Mr.
not
Ward.
12x squared plus 72x, I mean 12x
Yeah.
cubed
Is this
plus
one
72x squared minus 12x.
Okay, well,
We
minus
didn't have
24.
that, so. Yeah, we didn't have that either, it's not right.
I think
Well,
I might have
technically we
wrote
had it.
We had it.
I don't know where you got that 14 from though.
Mr.
Z.
Two negative.
Charlie?
Oh, he's already come back. Thanks, Charles.
You're on the x squared, I'm on the x.
You're not doing x squareds?
Not yet.
But you're on doing the x's.
Mr. Ward. I mean.
Oh, I just went in.
Oh,
Wait, why'd you get a negative 8?
Is that close?
X.
We found the derivative first, 4x there, then negative 4x there.
I have to make negative 4. That's
Is
awesome.
that right?
What did you do?
I don't know.
Where's the
We took like the derivative of the x
And-
squared plus
Where's
4x.
another one?
I was
And then
3 and after.
It's 15.
Squared it and then multiplied by 3, is that not
The
right?
squareds.
Yes.
Squared.
No.
There's two negative x squareds, isn't
We
there?
thought it was
No,
worth
they're
a
just-
try.
Yeah, we thought it was
You knew it.
possible.
Coach Ward, would you ever name, if you had
Where'd you-
another
oh,
kid,
maybe
would you
there
ever
is.
name
I
him the
don't
same
know.
name as yours?
No.
Mister? No, you would name him Mister.
So 15.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
I might give him a directional, like westward
What?
or northward.
Okay, then we just
Word?
Or forward or backward.
More.
Or mental word, like psych word.
No, Mr. Ward. Okay,
That's like,
Those are definitely possibilities.
what if
Like
we
Kim
name him Mr.
Kardashian's
Ward?
kid Northwest.
Okay,
I was
what-
kind of mad when they did that. I was like, God, that was mine.
What would you do if you name him Mr. Ward and he becomes a teacher and he's like, quit calling me by my name? He's like, Mr. Ward. They're like, stop saying my name like that.
Call me Dr. Ward, please.
That's the only way you
14
can
times
combat
3.
it.
Do you think
Yes,
Mr. Ward squared is
Almost
Dr.
here.
Ward?
No, definitely.
What would it equal then? It would professor.
Yeah. You should do the math.
Now we're gonna do this one.
If
Okay.
you took your brain power
Alright.
with you, that's more than.
What's 3 times 24?
Wait, what?
What's
If you ever
Short.
have me 3
It's
times,
short.
you do that.
I'm doing
Just a
12.
word.
Think of positive.
Mr. Ward, you have Black Ops 4?
What are you doing?
You have
Any
Fortnite.
derivative of it?
Yeah.
No.
Do you have any dubs?
I haven't even played it more than twice.
You should play it tonight. See
Yeah,
how
I haven't.
see if you can grind it out and see how many times you
What
win.
number 2? Do you want to squat up?
82, how'd you get
No,
it?
They have
I
cross-platform.
just don't play it.
42 times
They have cross-platform now.
Well,
Mr.
why'd
Ward,
you
what
say
games
like
do you
three
play?
hours?
Mr. Ward, play the conference tonight.
Does your wife still play Grand Theft Auto?
That's alright.
Well, I haven't played it for a long time.
Is she Red Dead
I
Redemption
still
2
need
so
a
she can drive a
negative.
horse around instead of a car?
It's funny, but
Where are you?
Tonight at conferences, you sit there on your computer and play Fortnite. So that when the parents come back, wait,
My leg just
wait,
went
I'm
off.
about to win, just a second.
Alright,
Yeah.
okay, here's how we're gonna decide. I'm gonna do a random number generator.
Wait.
That'll decide which group is gonna come up here and present it. It's gonna be
Oh, I want it so bad.
Okay, are we ready?
No, can we?
Jesse, here, I'll give you my word for it.
Okay, alright, we have what, 1 through 4? I'll even throw myself in there. Alright, so I'll be group number 5. Alright, here we go, ready?
Where is it?
It's 2.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, alright, we're going 1 through 5, let's generate it.
3!
Okay, there you go.
Hey, can I ride it?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
We'll keep doing this when we try other problems. So
I
I'll
wanna
do random
Wait, we
number
just
generator.
do
So
it.
you will have an
That's a
opportunity.
lot.
Are you an RNG freak?
Wait, can I do the whole thing?
Or are you a freak for RNG?
Um,
Random number generator.
yeah, I
Yes.
was gonna do that.
I actually kind of like random.
Mr. Ward, if you had to pick one number as your favorite, what would it be?
9.
Okay,
Why?
2 plus
Because it's
72.
cute, it's
My
sweet.
lucky number.
Squared.
What's
Is
your
that what
like?
number you wore in basketball?
Hey, Mr. Ward, come
I can't
here.
remember 9 when I was
I
in
know, that's why
What
I
could you
Why?
What could you or not?
can't hold up.
It's a state rule for high school basketball. You gotta have numbers that are like 1.
It's gotta be,
What?
it's gotta be
One
between,
hand.
1 and 5.
yeah, you can't
Uh,
go over 5 on the
Or
second.
11 through
Or in the first
15.
one.
Why?
Because the ref has to be able to hold up like foul number 5.
You
Or
can't do
foul number
6 because it'd be
15.
15.
That's stupid.
That's weird, I didn't know.
That is.
So they can't do.
Do they do that in the NBA? Sure.
Okay,
NBA.
alright, hey, let's be paying attention. Group, can you
Yeah, it
state
is.
why you have that first line?
You know what I don't like?
What do you mean?
This
Well,
one isn't a
it's
square.
Because it's
square.
square.
Okay, keep going. Yeah. That's all we need to know.
Longer than-
That mass.
Oh, I can't think of it.
You gotta do this mass by itself.
I like,
Numbers,
like
so.
Luka Doncic is what, like 77 or something?
What's
Right
Hey,
now,
forget
it's
anything? Ah, there we go, there we go, okay. Alright, this should be the start before we actually take the derivative. I know that seems long. So far, so good.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna quit.
So far, so
And here's your final answer.
good. Okay, final derivative. Here we go.
I got the same thing if I'd done it how I did it too.
Really? That's awesome.
He's getting retired.
He's already retired.
Okay, double check.
JJY, he's really good.
Double check your answer. This is what we get.
Is that right? Yeah.
What happens if we
That's a really loud clap.
What happens if we got that?
You got it?
Do we get a prize?
You're good. You I'm expecting everyone should get
You
this.
should start giving out gold stars.
Okay.
You should get
There's a gold
tickets.
star for you.
Right.
I wish we had a gold star.
You guys get
No!
2 gold stars. You can't argue.
Justin, give him the
This
heart.
is
Justin,
Ward,
send us the
I'm
heart.
gonna throw a temper tantrum.
Hey,
That's fine. You
we're
can
less
throw it out.
annoying than you.
Alright.
I think we
Maybe
should-
they'll give you a black star.
What does that mean?
Okay. You don't want a black star. Alright. Okay. Moving on. Alright. So here we go.
Don't erase my nice handwriting.
We're leaving that. Alright. Here we go.
This is a new one?
Yep.
You want us
Okay.
to do this?
Here's your next one.
You just
Okay.
went it up there.
Sorry, group 2. We're gonna toss you out of the running for the next one. You guys did a nice job on the first one.
So how do you put groups number
Okay.
1?
You have to
We're
start
practicing
with
a couple of these. Okay, because we have a brand new topic we have to talk about today, and I want to at least go through a couple of review problems because these are like what your homework are based on. And I want to make sure that you know how to do them correctly, that you feel comfortable, that you know how to set it up. There's different ways of doing this. So,
So what's this one? Right?
yeah.
To the
This
4
word.
minus 8.
What's
And then- Is it a plus? Or minus?
Alright, we'll throw out group number 2 out of this next one. So if it comes up with number 2, we'll
do that to us.
Right.
Mr. Ward, don't do that to him.
4 EX.
You're breaking my heart, Mr. Ward.
Me too, I'm
You
sorry.
guys aren't eligible to earn gold stars on this problem.
Yeah, but we already have more than you, so we don't.
Yeah, but I'm gonna guarantee you get 4 stars.
Justin, you know what this
I got
symbolizes?
mine.
2 gold stars.
Okay.
It's just for like
3 gold stars.
No, he didn't award them to you.
Oh, but I have this one.
Just,
Is this what you got? Because you don't do it.
now, whatever group's coming up next, I'll have you just put your work over here. Okay, work over on this side.
It's not.
How many props are we working on?
Just like
How
that.
many props are we doing?
I wanna do 3, and then we'll get into the new
We
stuff.
should do 5 and then that way everyone
You
gets
have the numbers back.
Why don't you have
Yeah.
negative?
So they
Yeah, you
were-
just added it, so it's
all
right.
of them.
Okay.
4.
It's nice to review some of these.
All over, okay.
Minus 3x.
Mr. Ward, is this right?
It is.
Yeah, wait, do we have to simplify?
What is the quotient rule? What is that?
Wait, Mr. Ward,
Derivative first times 1 the other second.
Mr. Ward, do we have to simplify?
Minus the derivative second times
Do we
1
get
the
another gold
first
star?
all over 2. All
Justin, we just got another gold star and you guys did.
Mr. Ward, do you have to simplify? Okay,
Just
so
write down the first one.
Can I put this down?
You're right.
Wait, no, you're doing everything right.
That's wrong.
Why did it
Forgot
say
something.
H?
Oh, we didn't get gold star. No refundable. No refundable.
How do we?
That's a gold star. We're taking it back.
Justin, I just
That's
got
a gold star.
Justin,
Gold star.
I just got a gold star.
Oh, yes,
Alright, hey, you can explain. Okay.
Yeah,
What
you can't.
It's supposed to be.
No, no,
the
you
derivative
forgot
is
something. You
supposed
did
to
it
be
right,
negative
like,
e.
you wrote this. That isn't the derivative of,
What? Where's the answer?
you were very, very close.
No, I wrote it.
Nope,
He
nope,
has
nope,
something
nope.
different than
Nope.
I
How do you?
Right there.
That's the final one?
Yes.
No,
Oh, you
What do you
simplified it.
mean?
I tried to simplify it. I was
he's
wrong.
closer than what
It's
you
the
are.
Ellen thing.
Oh.
I'm
Oh.
so confused on what
Wrong
you're saying.
again. Gold
Mr. Ward,
stars.
come here,
But
just
it's you like 2x.
They get a black star now.
Huh?
Oh, you guys simplified it. You made the same mistake that they made.
Gold stars.
No.
All to this group except
No,
the Dakota
look,
is
she
gold
made it,
stars.
Oh, she made the plus out.
You're
Okay,
a gold
I see.
star.
Because Dakota's a gold star.
How many gold
This
stars
is
did
it.
we get?
We get 4, 1 for each of us.
What?
I wrote down a thing.
Who would like my
What
gold
is?
star?
Do you ever feel
Where'd the 4 go?
Did you do the derivative for
Drift
it?
into the
Oh, yeah.
again.
Did you remember gold star back? Oh, Justin, we just got our star back.
Writing upside down.
Yeah, we
He has to say you get a gold star.
Do we have?
Lucas, okay.
Why is it negative? I wasn't here.
like gold star.
You have your foil on,
Missing word.
Like
We have 20 gold stars.
You only have it.
More!
No, we were both there gold star.
I gave them back
We
together.
got 2 problems right.
Wait,
How do we have 1 gold star? We have 2 problems.
What?
You did that one.
Your
We
word.
did the first one right too.
Guys,
Go.
just basically likes us
Okay.
better.
Alright, hey, here we go. Hey, if it comes up with a 2, sorry, group 2, you can't go again?
If it comes up with
You
two,
guys get it wrong.
Okay. Group 1.
Oh gosh, that's us.
No, can we go and say?
No, hey, Justin, go sit.
You're gonna lose something the last gold star.
Even if it could be your
Close.
you're not allowed to touch my marker.
No, Justin, I give you my right.
Watch this though. If the markers touch it, then I'm not touching it.
By the transit.
You're not allowed to touch my markers either.
I'm
I'll
not.
draw with
What
that.
if it
Justin, grab a sharpie.
Everything
Grab
touches. That's a way to get around that. Because that's what the
a
priests do.
sharpie.
They don't touch it, they touch the thing with their claw.
Wait, with what?
It's called
JP,
aberration.
I'll hold the marker and you use
Or,
mine.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why is it negative? I'll put it in.
This in parentheses.
That's like rubbing on the
It's just
No,
going.
I'll do it and then
Oh,
all
but
3 of
it's
you can move
like-
my arms
there's
because
a
my arm's
column
that
like
big.
Do you ever feel?
Mr. Ward, reason where he's sick is actually a talented professional.
Okay.
He's
All right.
almost as good at
Hey,
singing as he
let's-
is.
hey, can you discuss the top for me? Because you are correct the way you wrote it, but you also simplified it before you wrote that. So explain what you guys did.
The derivative of this would be a negative e to the x
Woo.
when we put it there. But since you're already subtracting, I just made it.
Nicole, come here, come here, come here.
That's bold
Right
move
now,
to
right
do
now.
actually.
You need to come
Reese.
here. Turn around.
Is it factual that you are almost as good as singing?
All right.
Okay, go.
So, very nicely done. Did the derivative of the top, derivative of the bottom. Very nice. All right. Last problem here. Last problem. Okay, here we
Give it to
go.
number 3.
Okay.
Do you ever
Wait, what's the
feel-
derivative
Justin,
of
same
8
thing, I'll
to
do
the
the
x
word.
Give me
power?
some- give me
Is
some-
that
give me
natural
some.
log of 8 times 8 to
Mobile.
the x?
Yes. I guess not. I mean,
Okay, all right, next one, here we go.
Why are you so
Back,
particular on that?
you're almost doing the problem I was about to do, so I'm gonna
I
change
just
it up.
want to make sure
What?
that that's I think I was tired that day, so I didn't process, and now I just never will process.
Yeah, I
Mercy.
know.
Okay, this is your last problem before we get to the new stuff.
Holy cow.
Oh, man.
Okay.
That one in this little box here.
How do you even do this?
Right, it doesn't flow. Make that shape.
Whoa.
I was going up more in difficulty as we go. Now, don't get me wrong, the first one takes a while, but the derivative is very simple to calculate. Quotients take a while. There's little tricks and tips you have to think about. This one is definitely more challenging.
It seems like it.
We're going up in difficulty until we get to the next.
Mr. Ward, can you come check my answer,
5
please?
to the
Because I know I'm correct. And I better get 2 minutes so I was waiting to try because it's fast.
Quick.
Can I simplify the thing?
You ever.
Yes, you can simplify that.
What do you do with the 5 to the x?
Yeah.
Isn't that the ln?
Oh, Lord, I
ln
just.
5 times 5 to the x.
Times a quantity.
Times all this?
1 plus 4x plus 4x.
Is it
right?
plus?
Very nicely done.
Plus that?
I help.
What?
Do I get regal size?
This?
Jaden.
Now
It's
is that
got
the
3
answer?
stars.
Is that
Let me
the
see
answer?
this.
We
I do this
still
right?
have more.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
What's the answer?
Tori still has attention.
Wait, why is where
So why do you do this?
I basically got Tori's attention.
Why do you do this part?
Yeah.
Because
I basically got Tori's
No, but like, what is that part?
that's the derivative of
Okay,
the.
but then you gotta bump one here, right?
What?
I was close, I only did
How
that.
did you get?
I like the way that you did that, because it was very
For
clean,
what?
the way you did it. Because I'm definitely expecting somebody else to try this and do it completely different.
What do you mean?
Distributing.
Plus then the derivative of that.
Why can't we distribute?
Okay, so how did
It doesn't look
how did you
difficult.
get
Come
Tori?
look at mine.
Okay, so Tori went to the bathroom.
Uh,
And then went
No,
off.
you did the same thing as him. You're fine.
Oh,
No,
You're fine.
it's-
It was very elegant the
So
way
we
you guys
talked
did it.
about it and then
Thank you.
and I was like, Tori, how long are you bathroom? And they all
That's
started
what
like,
you
trying to
think.
talk
Very
about
elegant.
it, drew it, see what
That
they would
would
say.
be.
And I literally kept doing it. and-
I wrote it 2
and
different ways as
and
well.
I was
The
like,
line about
Tori,
it.
did you buy a plate ticket?
And he was like serious.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't say anything, she just stood there, or sat there and
And
laughed.
he's like, answer the question, I'll call the officer to find out.
What?
And she's like, yeah, and he goes, detention tomorrow morning at 7:45. And I was like,
We got it.
I would
7
actually
people
go.
we were all.
crying, laughing.
I was dying. 'cause I
What
was
is
like,
Tori's
The
reaction?
biggest
She was
part
like,
of that,
This would be
throws his shoe at him.
She had
I
his shoe.
was like, Tori, stop
Yeah,
throwing
you-
stealing
so
my
everyone's doing the same
stuff.
with this
Yeah, you're like, stop betraying Mr. Mistrust.
I don't
How you
know
guys
how
doing?
that's
He was just doing it as a joke and then we actually get
Yeah, but they kept egging me on to keep going.
Okay,
Alright.
I like
Just
doing
zero
that,
and then
like,
you
if we look at my sociology notebook.
But I think it's funny because you like wasn't in a
I
bad
only
mood.
write notes on the backside. On the backside.
Why would you lie to me?
Yeah,
This is why, don't let anyone go to that.
Just freaking
Like,
out.
well,
I was in business hub earlier.
I wasn't really
I was trying to
listening,
debate
and
Mr.
then
Graham.
I-
He like stops. He's like,
Yeah, but this is,
Mr. Graham. He like stops. He's like, are you really trying to debate with me? And I was like, yes, I'm here the best, Mr. V. And he goes, no, I'm the best. He's like, think about this long and hard. Do you think you can beat me in a debate?
times five.
And I was like, no. And he goes,
It's
good,
really
because
close
I'm
to
intellectual
EX, the
superior.
only difference is that E, so you have to put it
Even
in.
towards 32, right?
What were you trying to argue?
Something about hours. I was like, hours do not determine productivity. He goes, no, productivity
All right.
determines productivity.
Random number generator, here we
And
go.
I was like,
5, who's 5?
you are. That's us.
That's me.
No, that's
That's me. Go sit.
Mr. Ward, can you
That's
tell
me.
me this relax?
Alright,
What is
okay,
5?
hey, I'm gonna do it the way that you guys have done it, and I was really impressed by this.
Who's
So,
impressed 'cause we
you
did it right.
boil this all up, Justin go sit. Alright, so, 2x, 1 plus 2x, boiling that out, this can be 1 plus 4x, plus 4x
Is
squared.
that right?
Okay,
Yes.
the reason why I would do that is because if I'm finding the derivative, you can do the product rule, and I was really impressed that you guys chose to do that.
Oh, you know what I
Because
did?
I was
only
worried-
did 3.
I was worried that people would try to distribute the 5 through the parenthesis, and then you would have a lot of product rules everywhere. And it makes it really messy. I'm really surprised you guys actually chose.
You're surprised that we did something
So,
right.
no. I'm surprised that you guys did
That's
do
how we
it.
look at
You
it.
actually chose to see the product rule as opposed to foiling, like trying to go down to like trying to go down to this power rule. Because the power rule on this particular problem would actually make it more difficult.
I
So
don't
you
even
guys
know
actually
what
went
the
the more
power-
elegant
What is
route.
the power rule?
The power rule is when you like you multiply, and so you just have a
And
bunch
then
of
you get
items,
the
and then you drop the
derivative.
power, and you find the derivative, drop the power, find the derivative. And on this problem, if you were to
Hey,
distribute the
quick.
5x, you'd have a lot of like individual products.
I always see it like
Yeah.
as the more.
No, I'm really impressed by it. So,
Like rule.
hey, natural log of 5x, or sorry, derivative of 5x is natural log of 5 times 5x times the first. Now, I even saw it where you guys wrote out the full problem. I even saw one person in particular just left the 2x plus 1 squared, because that's the first. And then derivative of the second, this was the 8x plus 4 times the 5x times that item. So that's the
5
derivative
to
of
the
the back.
x.
So 5 to the x, yeah.
Wow.
So I actually like that. I don't mind in right here if you left it like the 1 plus 4x plus
That's
4x
right.
squared. That to me, they're the same thing. It's just, I was really, really happy that you guys chose to do that, because most people would try to distribute and they try to go down to this rule, because they always want to go to the same rule every single time.
I'm gonna make
Okay.
Mr. Ward, I just squared our zip code.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Why?
okay,
Because Josh used
Next
to
problem I'd like you to
square
write
our
down.
zip
Oh, we're doing more?
no, this is the brand new stuff. So I want you to write this down.
Here, wait. I need to go get a new.
Mr. Ward, you have a lot of faith in this class.
No, you forgot one.
This is. Okay. Thank you for all this. Alright, so, okay. Now,
Ugh.
okay. Alright, here we go. Now, just write this down.
We're doing the chain rule.
Yes.
You promise.
Yes.
Is that all? It's just the chain rule.
Chain rule.
Thanks.
Just change.
Alright. The chain rule is, its purpose is so that you don't have to boil a really big problem out.
Light.
You can cheat the problem and still get to the same answer. Now, if the book asks you to simplify all the way and combine like terms, there's no roundabout. That you're gonna have to FOIL eventually a lot of things out together. Okay? Now, here's the chain rule. This, and we could have applied this technically to the first problem and this last one. It's just that I usually reserve for the powers that are really big, and or if they do like a radical, or they do e to the x, and they put like things in like the powers. I'll explain now. I'm going to do like 2 or 3 examples of like the different ranges here, just to show you. So here's how the chain rule works. You think of this problem like just, so I'm imagining that this is what our problem is. Like it's a w to the 4th. That's all I think of it. Like a w to the 4th. So when you take a derivative of w to the 4th with respect to w,
code. It'd be 4w3.
yeah, you just drop the 4 out front, you'd cut 1 off the power, and that would be your derivative, right? Well, what we have to
We
do...
just put a 4 out front. Oh my gosh, and multiply it.
No, it's more than this. It's more. You drop the power front like you were saying. So you're going to drop the power out front, because it's just like a normal problem. Then what you do is after you drop the power out front, you subtract 1 off the power, and you have to multiply, by whatever the derivative of the inside is. Because this is like the power rule on the outside, but we still have to take the derivative of the inside.
6x plus 3.
Good. 6x plus 3. This is my final answer. That would be the derivative. It would be the same answer if you were to FOIL it all out and take the derivative. Like this thing, what's left, would be the same answer.
I thought we were
Why
trying
does
to
that make
force-
this any easier?
Now, why? Is because I don't need to FOIL it all out. I'm taking the derivative faster, because at the very end, it's factoring out all those common factors
We have to
for you.
multiply those two things.
No, we're done. Like that's the derivative.
What's the
This is-
derivative?
This is my function.
What?
Like that's my original function.
It
This is
didn't get
the
any
first
shorter.
derivative, and I'm done.
It got longer.
Yeah, because you drop the power front, and then you have to take the derivative of the inside. It looks longer, but the actual problem is the first derivative.
Well, because it's
What's
a
the
third
answer?
power instead of a fourth power.
Exactly. It's a third power.
Yes.
What is the simplified answer?
Sure, my brother.
Just-
All right.
What?
So,
Are we done now?
no.
He does a lot.
Okay. Does everyone understand the rule?
Wait, let me write her down.
Okay, you drop the power, you subtract 1 off it like normal, but then you take the derivative of the inside.
Working 60 hours.
Okay, as you're writing it down, I'm gonna leave that up there.
Ready?
Let's do another one. I have 2 more, and then we're done.
I get it.
Aw.
It really, it makes, it clicks into cool.
Good.
And then he worked 60
All right.
weeks,
What kind of math I like?
So he's working.
Nicole's same.
When you don't have to actually do math.
Yes.
Okay, so, next
I like
one.
doing math. Don't you
Okay,
know?
chain rule. Here we
I
go.
really do like math.
Okay, we're gonna go e to the 4x plus 1, and this is in the power.
Ooh.
So it is a chain rule. It's got something in a parenthesis that isn't easy looking. So it's like this problem, right? It's like the w to the fourth, but the w is more complicated. Okay, this is like e to the x, but it's more complicated than that. So you still have to find the derivative of e to the x. So that's just e to the same power, right? Because that's how you find a derivative of e.
And then you take
But-
and multiply by it.
Then we multiply by the conjugate of what was inside the parenthesis.
Conjugate.
So the
So we
4.
multipy by the derivative, did I say
You
conjugate?
say conjugate, so by
4.
Derivative of the inside, which is 4.
I thought it was 18.
Because it's the whole thing. You're doing the normal derivative, right? The derivative of like w to the fourth is you drop the power subtract, right? The derivative of e is just e, right? It's just the overall thing. But since there's something more complicated in the parenthesis, you have to take the derivative of that and multiply it
Okay.
So for E, you just take the derivative of the.
and that multiplies it.
Yeah.
Because it's putting in consideration there's more than just one x.
That's her legs.
That you have the derivative of the multiple x's that you have. If you have 4x plus 1, there's more than just one x there. So you have to find the derivative of it.
Yeah.
Take a dab on
I'll
Now,
pretend.
I could put this problem into that limit thing like we did last week, and it would turn out to be the same.
Actually dead. I just don't want to.
So we
Alright.
just do,
Wait. Justin, raise your
I
hand.
don't know how that's.
I wanna do some more math.
Okay, hey, last problem today, last problem. Okay, last problem, we're gonna do a radical, so square root, and we're gonna go, let's go with 9x squared plus 3x plus 2.
You just do the derivative of that in there.
So,
2 years ago.
we're gonna do by
Just raise
chain
it to
rule.
the half power.
There is a half power, so that is kind of the thing that you need to see there. That I'm gonna change this problem to look like the first one that I did. That I'm going to put the half power out on the outside, because this half power means the radical, right?
It's kind of
I
stretch.
like this better when we had the FX and the H's.
What is this?
Oh.
So, it's the same problem when I put it to the half. But then we have to do the chain rule. So since there's something more complicated inside just x to the half power, you still have to follow the same first rule,
Got it.
that you drop the power out front, and you drop the power out front,
Yeah, then you.
and then
To
you
negative half.
chop one off the power. So
Times
even though
18x
I know
plus
this was a half, but you're gonna subtract one off of it, so it'll be a negative half.
Why
Times.
don't you just write
And then
it?
we multiply
Because I didn't know.
by the derivative of whatever's on the inside.
18x
So-
plus 3.
It's okay, I might.
18x plus 3.
I wrote down multiplication.
Okay, does that make sense? Now, to simplify this final
That's the
answer,
derivative of that.
You have to simplify it?
Is
Just to
this
show you what
Is
they're-
this the derivative of that?
yes, this is the derivative of this thing, using chain rule, because there's a power rule, but then there's still stuff on the inside.
Why is it minus 1?
Be like,
You always subtract one off the power, that's what you've been doing forever.
Oh, you just left it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just change that, so this part, if you didn't hear James, you wanna know why I had the minus 1, I'm just gonna make that a negative half now, because it's half minus 1. And now I'm gonna simplify, because this thing would go to the bottom of a fraction, because it has a negative power, it'd still be a radical, but it would be on the bottom.
just.
The 2 would join it on the bottom, because that's on a fraction. And my final answer for its derivative would be this. There'd be the 2 down there, I'd still have the radical of the 9x squared plus 3x plus 2. And the items that's left on the top would be the 18x plus 3. That would be your final derivative. That's like that's rewriting it into its simplest form. Now that looks super complicated, but once you understand the power rule, the chain rule, it can work for anything that's more complicated. It actually can actually make your derivatives really simple and
Hey, you
quick.
know what you never did?
Oh,
Check
you won't say it
papers.
to Mohiah.
Papers when we have paper.
When you made, people take notes on papers
No,
for
please
the
don't.
Oh, they
long
collaborate.
road.
I never turned it
You don't need it?
I probably need to do that, so.
This?
Hey, I'll do that probably
Just
next
come,
week.
can you come just look at it?
Nobody
real quick?
wants
That?
to do this thing.
The kosher stuff?
He's actually getting.
Look how good mine looks too.
Now, you know that I have it, so go ahead.
Remember,
In your oven.
This one.
remember,
Are we done?
Go like this,
The
like-
back.
We're done for today.
remember sophomore year
Okay,
when
homework's
you
on
ranked
board.
it or you like raw dog?
It's the page numbers
It's like, it's a
35
raw
to
dog.
39. make sure that you're turning it all in. I'm gonna take my little sticky notes.
I did too.
Put up with this.
I got my own behind Mr. Ward. Can I get my locker here? My homework?
Mr. Ward.
And this is Edward's turn around.
Did I say Mr. Ward or Mr. Hank?
Logan goes, oh, it's when you
I need
eat
to
a hot dog
get
and
past
have
that one.
We need to give
And she's like, oh.